Hello and welcome to the answers to last night's daily quiz. We'll start with number 1. No calculator. Find the antiderivative from 1 to 4 of 6x to the 4th plus 2x squared plus 2 over x squared with respect to x. Now the first thing we need to remember is if there's one term in the denominator, we split our fraction into 3 pieces. So this would be 6x to the 4th over x squared plus 2x squared over x squared plus 2 over x squared, all with respect to x. I'm going to turn on my calculator quick for some later questions. Let's just ignore it though. So let's simplify this. We'll reduce each of these We'll reduce each of these. 6x to the 4th over x squared is 6x squared plus 2 plus 2x to the negative 2, all with respect to x. All right, so now we need to integrate. We'll integrate this. Power up and divide by 3, we get 2x cubed. Plus, it's just a constant, so 2x. Minus 2x to the negative 1 from 1 to 4. Once you've integrated, do not write this again. This little s symbol, which stands for the integration, the summation of infinite rectangles, tells you to integrate. Once you've done it, don't write it again because you don't have to do it again. Now we'll plug in 4. We plug in 4, we get 2 times 64, because 4 cubed is 64, plus 2 times 4, which is 8, minus 2 over x to the negative 1 is 2 over 4, minus, and then when we plug in 1, we're just worried about the coefficients, 2 plus 2 minus 2. Alright, clean that up a little bit. Remember, this is no calculator. You could technically leave it like that and get full credit. But I'm going to take it further. 2 times 64 is 128. Plus 8 minus 1/2. Minus, and then 2 plus 2 is 4 minus 2 is 2. 128 plus 8 is 136, minus 2 is 134, minus 1/2 is 133.5. All right, number 2. Oh, this one's a little big. Let's make it so we can see it. All right, that's good. Use the image above to find this integral from 1 to 3 of f prime of x. Well, starting with the antiderivative of the derivative, we know that simplifies to f of x. And then we evaluate it from 1 to 3, which means we want f of 3 minus f of 1. Well, f of 3, evaluating the function when x is 3, here's 3, trace it up to right here, and that value is 15. So f of 3 is 15 minus f of 1 when x is 1, y is 1. So 15 minus 1 is 14. Now someone out there left 15 minus 1, and that is perfectly fine. It is a tough subtraction. We can do that. All right, moving on to number 3. Calculator. So we need our calculator for this. When you're asked to use a calculator to do a problem, you need to show the setup, what you're typing into the calculator, and then the answer. You don't need to show anything in between. So when you're setting this up, we want to find the average value. The average value is the integral, so we'll integrate the function. With respect to x from 2 to 4. And we'll divide that whole thing by 4 minus 2. Now, someone's comment where I don't know the antiderivative of natural log. I know. That's not a Calc 1 topic. But a Calc 1 topic is knowing the definition of average value and being able to use a calculator to figure it out. All right, so there's our setup. Let's type it in. All right, so we're going to have a fraction. We have a fraction. In the numerator of the fraction, we're going to have an integral from 2 to 4 of the natural log of 4x squared minus 2 with respect to x all over 4 minus 2. You can accomplish the same thing on the T83 and E4 by grouping the bottom in parentheses after you do the integral. So that works out. We get an answer. That's not the answer they're going to kind of expect. It is technically correct. If you don't want to write all that, you can round it. Just take your previous answer times 1.0 or do the approximately equals. The TI inspires are pretty accurate. More accurate than we need to be sometimes. So our final answer is 3.8402. Everything after, technically everything after here you can ignore. 3.48. And if the third decimal point is a 0, you do not need to write it. All right, number 4. Show setup and answer. So this is calculator base again. The velocity of a particle is given by v of t. Find the average velocity. Well, we're given a velocity. We want to find the average velocity. Whenever you're given what you want to find the average of, you integrate. So we'll integrate from 0 to 3 our velocity, and since it's defined for you right here, it is okay to just say v of t. I know I didn't in the last problem. I'm just showing you different ways. If it's defined in the problem, you can refer to it in your answer or your work as how it's defined, instead of writing the whole thing. All right? And then we'll divide by the gap, 3 minus 0. Grab the calculator. And we'll have a fraction. In the numerator of the fraction, we'll have our integral from 0 to 3 of 5t times the natural log of t plus 2 with respect to t all over 3 minus 0. And again, there's your exact answer. We'll multiply that by 1 point, and our estimated answer, 10.265. Or 266, sorry. Again, we got all these answers, all these decimal points. We can just forget about everything there. Feel free to write them down if you absolutely must, but on the AP exam, they're just going to look there and stop reading. All right, number 5. This one was a fun one. A few of you got this, but the rest of you kind of struggled with this. All right, so what we have here is a linear function. F of x is a linear function. Now, keep in mind that means that f of x equals mx plus b. Thus, the derivative is m. Now, when we take a look here, they want us to find the integral of the second derivative from a to b with respect to x. Well, using our fundamental theorem, the derivative of the antiderivative of the second derivative will get us back to the derivative from a to b. And now we want to evaluate it. F prime of b minus f prime of a. Well, our derivative is a constant. It's m. No matter what x is, the slope is m. So when x is b, the slope is m. When x is a, the slope is m. And m minus m is 0. So when f is a linear function, the area under the curve of the second derivative from any two numbers is always 0 because a linear has a constant slope. All right, and number 6. Calculator base. So we're going to do a setup and get an answer. So here's a function, and we want the average value from 0 to 6. Well, it feels like we're beating a dead horse, but the average value is the integrand of the function. In this case, it's f of x from 0 to 6 divided by the gap, which is 6 minus 0, or 6. All right, now it's just a matter of plug it in. We'll do our fraction. In the numerator, we'll do our integral from 0 to 6 of, in this case, we got x plus 2 times the sine of the square root of x plus 2 with respect to x over 6 minus 0. I'm going to put my decimal point in right now so I don't have to go through the whole multiplying by 1 point. And my answer is 3.348, which is B. All right, those are your answers to last night's daily quiz. Thank you, and have a good afternoon, good evening, or whenever you're watching this.